Super Mario Odyssey is very close to release now. The game releases on October 27th, and I thought I would give you a new video from me about this game, and this is going to be discussing my positives and my criticisms, because there are some criticisms I have with Super Mario Odyssey. Now, disclaimer, I don't hate Odyssey. In fact, I'm really excited for Odyssey, but I do have my worries about the game, and in my opinion, I think the game is being incredibly overhyped. But that doesn't mean I hate the game, because some people seem to think if I have criticisms with a game, it automatically means I hate it for some reason, which is not true. I'm a big fan of Odyssey, I'm a big fan of a lot of things it's doing, but of course, like every game, I have my concerns. So let's get straight into this video, and I'm going to start off with the positives, and then after the positives I'm going to go straight to the negatives and my criticisms. So let's go. Positives first. My first positive is that the game looks really nice visually. The Switch isn't the most powerful console in the world. It's a bit higher than the PS3 and Xbox 360, but it's nowhere near the PS4 and Xbox One. So the fact that I can achieve such good graphics on that hardware is really impressive, and the most impressive thing is that it's all in handheld mode. The game has even been given some graphical updates since we first saw it way back in that Nintendo Switch presentation. They've really been polishing this game to make it look as good as it can possibly be. I'm not even sure if it runs at 720p or 1080p anymore, but it looks really nice, everything's really detailed. And speaking about the graphics for the game, the animation for Mario and all the different enemies and all the different characters looks really nice so far. It all looks bouncy and flexible, and it just flows really well. It looks really nice, it looks really cartoony, which is what Mario should be. So it looks incredibly good. Really happy with what we've seen of the animation so far, so that's another positive thing I have to say about Super Mario Odyssey. The next positive I have is the idea of them returning to the open world sandbox style games for the 3D Mario games, because we've not had that since Super Mario Sunshine, as you all probably know. They've been emphasizing the fact that they're going back to what made Sunshine so great with its open world level design, and it's really cool, really happy that they're doing that, because even though the Galaxy games, they're really great, don't get me wrong, they are really fun, I'm not the biggest fan of them. Not only because of Mario's control and how floaty he felt, but also of how linear and how much like 2D type stuff was in that game. Well, in both games actually. I just wasn't the biggest fan of what the Galaxy games were doing. Even though I still think they're great, all because I don't think they're the best doesn't mean I hate them. So I think they're pretty good, but I didn't like how they were made. And then we've got the 3D games, the 3D Land and the 3D Worlds. I'm not the biggest fan of them games. Like, 3D World isn't my cup of tea. I know what I was trying to do, it's a great game, it's a really, really well made game. But I'm not a big fan, I don't really like it that much. Because of Mario's control, it feels really stiff to me, and how simplified the game is to play. And it just looks all blocky and artificial. And I just wasn't the biggest fan of how Nintendo were going about making that game. Even though I still think it's really great, it's got really great graphics, music in that game was excellent, but the actual gameplay and level design for me just wasn't up to par with what I'm looking for in a 3D Mario game. They basically tried to make a 2D Mario game and put it in like a third dimension, so it was really, to me, just felt like a 2D game, and not even that great of a 2D game to me. But we're getting off track. The point at hand is, we're returning to the 3D open world styled sandbox levels, and that is what I want to see from the 3D Mario games. From this point onwards, this is what I want to see, because I just feel like this is what Mario should be in 3D. Like, we've got the 2D Mario games to play, why try and make 3D Mario games 2D? They should be their own thing. So the fact that this game is doing that is excellent. So that's another positive I have with Super Mario Odyssey. And the last positive I have is the new capture ability. When this game was first revealed, we had no idea what this ability was, we never even heard of it. It was really hidden in plain sight pretty much, and then we finally found out about that ability at E3, and it was really cool to see. It's something new that Mario has never done before. He can take over almost anything, and this gives a lot of gameplay variety, and it gives you new ways to traverse the levels. So it's really cool to see, it's really creative. Major props to you, Nintendo, because you've made something really cool and creative and original, which is awesome because you don't really do that anymore. And I don't care if I trigger anyone by saying that, but come on, they're not really that creative anymore. So the fact that they're doing this It's really cool. I want them to spark some new life into Mario again, and their other franchises. So this capture ability, really cool. Take over any enemy, any object pretty much. You can take over a human, you can take over a taxi, you can take over so much stuff. It's really cool, really happy with what they're doing with that. And that's all of my positives on Super Mario Odyssey. Let's get onto the part that is bound to trigger everyone in the comments. Please don't get triggered, this is just my opinion. So these are my negatives and my criticisms with Super Mario Odyssey, and this is why I think the game is overhyped in general. So let's go. So if you didn't know by now, I have actually played Super Mario Odyssey. I went to EGX, which is a gaming convention, and I got to try out Super Mario Odyssey. I tried it out 3 times. I played the Sand Kingdom once, and then the Metro Kingdom, which is New Donk City, I played that one twice. And the first thing I went to check out and to test immediately was the sense of control. How would this game feel? And to me, I am not a fan of how this game actually plays. So if you've played Super Mario 3D World, the game I was criticizing in this video previously, you will know that I'm not a big fan of that control scheme. It doesn't feel great to control, it felt really slippery and loose. And sadly, this game feels almost the same as that. So when you jump in the air, the direction you're going, you'll just like continue to keep going there. You don't really have much air control after you jump, which is a shame. It makes platforming really hard, like tight platforming over bottomless pits and stuff. Makes that really hard. And some of like the button combinations they've mapped is really weird. Like the dive, you've got the dive in 64 and Sunshine where you run and you jump and you press B and you just keep on like sliding and doing the dive. Well, in this game for some reason, they've decided to scrap that and they mapped it to the stomp, and then you have to press the Y button as well. So you're running, jump, then you have to stop in midair to stomp, then you press the Y button. It kind of ruins the flow, and the dive is cool. It gives you an extra little height in the air, like gives you an extra little jump. That's cool, but the button combination is just really weird. That's kind of a minor nitpick, but the actual control scheme itself, the way the game feels, I was really hoping they would go back to something more Sunshine styled. That is my favourite game of all time if you didn't know, so the fact that it wasn't like that, I knew it wasn't going to be like that, but I'm still disappointed because it doesn't feel that great to me. And I know once you get used to it, it's going to feel great, probably, but right now, at this current stage, I just don't think the game controls really great. It just doesn't feel good to move around as Mario. And that is something that is so important to me in any video game, is if you have good control that makes everything you do incredibly satisfying. That's why I love Super Mario Sunshine, that's why I think 64 is pretty good, because I honestly think 64 had really great control. Like there's a bit of an issue with the controls, but overall I thought it felt really good and you could do so much stuff. And that's why I love games like Ori and the Blind Forest. Diddy Kong Racing felt fantastic to control, and stuff like that. So that is one of my criticisms, and probably my main criticism of Odyssey, is that it just doesn't feel that great to control. Granted, you can do a lot of stuff, like you can throw Cappy, jump on Cappy, wall jump, dive, stomp, side flip, you can do the somersault, you can do so much stuff, but I still don't feel like I'm in full control in this game, just due to how slippery it is. You can also do the spin jump like you can in Sunshine, that's one of the first things I tested out. So that actually does work pretty well, that's pretty cool. So I'm hoping once I play this game like for real and I have the full game in my hands, that I can get used to the control and realize it's really good. I don't want it to feel like 3D World, so I'm sad that it kind of did. So if any of you guys have played this game and you agree with me that it feels like Super Mario 3D World, let me know in the comments below, because I can't be the only one, right, that has that feeling that it feels like 3D World. So yeah, that's the first criticism I have with Super Mario Odyssey. The second criticism I have is the actual levels themselves. So the levels are built in a really blocky fashion, and I don't know if that's just me noticing that, but the levels are really starting to feel like something I'd see in Super Mario 3D World. I was criticizing that game for its level design and how artificial it felt. By artificial I mean it's just man-made, you know that someone made that level, rather than it being organic. That's what it felt like to me, and that's what these levels feel like to me. Except for New Donk City, I think that level feels pretty good. That's meant to be all blocky, and you've got all the buildings and everything, so that one felt pretty organic. I like New Donk City, but the Sand Kingdom is definitely an example of level design I do not want in Super Mario Odyssey. It feels like they've got a really simple engine and a really easy way to just build levels that it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it's a real world, it just feels like I'm playing something a game designer made, which they did. But one of the things I really wanted from this game was to be immersed in these worlds. Super Mario Sunshine nailed this for me, and I don't think Odyssey is going to. It's not bad. The levels aren't bad, don't get me wrong, they're still pretty good. They're really expansive, there's lots of secrets in them, and there's like these mini challenges you can do. But I just wanted more, basically. I just wanted it to flow. I just wanted it to feel organic and natural and like a world I could actually like explore in real life. But no, it just feels like Super Mario 3D World. And like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of 3D World, so I'm hoping that the other levels don't feel like this. But so far, most of the levels I've seen, they're following this design philosophy, and that doesn't excite me. Exceptions of this include the Cap Kingdom, I think that one looks excellent, and the Prehistoric Dinosaur Kingdom. That one is my favourite kingdom I've seen so far. That one looks absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to play that one. So the Prehistoric Kingdom looks pretty good, but the others not so much. Sand Kingdom doesn't look great. The Seaside Kingdom, graphically it looks really nice, but level design wise it doesn't look good. It just looks like a flat plane with some blocks at the side. It doesn't look that natural, which is disappointing because I was really looking forward to the Cap Kingdom. But to see it look like that and just look really basic and bare bones, that is disappointing. So that is the second biggest reason why I don't think this game is going to be the best game ever, because I just think the level design isn't up to par with the previous fully 3D sandbox styled Mario games. So that's my second criticism with this game. If you agree, let me know in the comments below. And speaking of the worlds, I'm kind of getting bored of some of them we've seen. They keep on like showing off the same ones, the Sand Kingdom and the Metro Kingdom. I'm getting really bored of those levels. Like even the New Donk City, I'm getting really bored of it. I'm just sick of that aesthetic. They show it in all the promotional trailers and everything. They're really pushing New Donk City. So yeah, I'm just kind of sick of it. Like, we've been seeing the same level for months and months on end. And they are showing new levels, don't get me wrong. They've shown quite a lot of content in this game. But they keep on emphasizing that one New Donk City. And I know this is kind of a nitpick, but it's just something I've noticed. I'm just worried that some of the worlds are going to get really old really fast, just because we've seen so much of them already. But that's a minor nitpick, so that doesn't really matter that much. And then the last criticism I have is also kind of a nitpick, but again, not really, is that the music seems to be pretty quiet for this game. Like, I was watching Sand Kingdom gameplay, right, and I could barely notice that there was music in there. And usually with Mario games, the music always pops out and you can just instantly remember it and it's so good. But with Odyssey, I'm not really seeing that at all. Like, I can remember sort of what New Donk City sounds like. The Seaside Kingdom, I can vaguely remember what that sounds like. But the Sand Kingdom, I have no idea. I cannot remember how that sounds. The music doesn't have enough of a focus for me in this game, and I'm hoping to step it up in the later levels because of Galaxy. I wasn't the biggest fan of Galaxy, right, but those soundtracks are absolutely phenomenal. They are excellent soundtracks. 3D World, not a fan of that game, but I thought the soundtrack was also absolutely incredible. That was an excellent jazzy styled soundtrack. And yes, we do have the main theme of Odyssey, which is excellent, and it's also apparently being sung by Kate Higgins, aka Tails from Sonic Colors onwards, which is really weird, but that's cool. But yeah, the music it's not impressing me. The music is not being impressive to me so far, so I'm really hoping they're hiding out all of the good tracks, and they're just giving us like samples, or I don't know. So I'm hoping that once the game is out, we'll actually be able to notice the music, and it's actually really good. So I'm hoping I'm wrong on this, but the music has been really quiet for me, and that is my fourth criticism and my last criticism with Super Mario Odyssey. So that is basically everything I have to say about this game before it releases. I have positives and I've got negatives. I'm not like super hyped for this game, but I don't hate this game. I just feel like I needed to make this video to get my points across and why I'm not like the most excited person for this game. Because I've seen so many people saying that this is going to be like the best Mario game ever. Whoa. I don't agree with that at all. I do not agree with that. But I still think it's going to be a really great game. Don't get me wrong. Let me know what you think of Super Mario Odyssey and my positives and criticisms in the comments below. Make sure to follow me on Twitter as I'm always active on there. I'm always joking around about Sonic and Nintendo stuff on my Twitter, so make sure to follow if you're into that kind of stuff, I guess. And definitely make sure to subscribe if you want more videos like this. I'll definitely be reviewing Super Mario Odyssey once it comes out. I'll probably be reviewing Sonic Forces as well. I'll be discussing both games, and I make a lot of other videos like top 10s and stuff. So if you like that, make sure to subscribe, and that's everything I have to say. Thank you all for watching this video, and I'll make sure to catch you all later.